do we want a society where diversity is a ground for exclusion, or do we want a society where diversity is a source of enrichment? Article 5 makes the case for a society where all of us can contribute equally, regardless of our level of ability. It's about making the most of each individual and being stronger together rather than against one another. It's about ensuring that people with all kinds of abilities can participate to the fullest as equals. And that is the kind of society I want to live in.
Article 6 of the CRPD is important because it recognizes that girls and women with disabilities face a different sort of discrimination than men with disabilities, not just for being disabled, but also for being women. And as such, it helps bring awareness about this issue, and it helps us actually and practically implement real change for them.
Article 7 of CRPD is children with disabilities, and I believe it is important because every children should have opportunity to grow up and live like every other children, being treated normally like every other siblings, being treated nicely just like every other neighbors. I think it's really important to give those chances for children to shape themselves irrespective of their ability.
So Article 8 is about raising awareness and promoting awareness about what people with disabilities provide to the society, what they are capable of doing, and basically fighting stereotypes. When we talk about persons with disabilities, we are talking about a very large spectrum of people with very different abilities. You should stop focusing on what you think they cannot do and rather understand them as people and understand them as people with personalities and stories to tell and stories that are meant to be heard.
I think Article 9 of the CRPD is important for persons with disabilities because it gives accessibility to the buildings, to information for persons with disabilities, like all other persons in the world, so they can integrate in the society.
I think Article 19 is really important because it's literally talking about how people with disabilities are living independently and they should be included into the community. So I believe that it's important because it gives them the choice whether or not they want to live their lives independently, whether it be they live in their own place, they live on their own, or they request for personal assistance. I believe that it's a basic right where they can be recognized as a person who has the ability and who has the choice to live like anyone else.
I feel Article 22 of the CRPD is important because it talks about the respect for privacy for people with disability. I feel that respect of privacy is something not only important for the disabled people but also for people without disability, because no one would want their privacy to be invaded by anyone else, neither you nor me. And so the state government should make an attempt to protect the privacy for everyone with disability so that the information is not readily available to everyone and so it cannot be abused by anyone.
Article 26 of the CRPD is important to me because it helps include people with disabilities in participation in society, and it helps to allow them to live their life to their maximum capabilities. So whether this is by providing services to rehabilitate mental health, physical, all of those sorts of components, it really allows them to live up to their true potential and to be an active part of society that we know they can be.
Article 27 of UNCRPD is important because employment is one of the most challenging issues for people with disabilities in the world, especially in developing countries. If we talk about employment, so it means we talk about the complex things, which is also related to education, to access of information and accessible infrastructure. It is not about getting money, but most about the dignity for people with disabilities. So by working, they can prove their ability, they can contribute to society, they can have a decent life, and the most important is they can have like a normal life like general people.
Article 27 of CRPD talks about equal opportunities in employment. It is extremely important for anyone to find economic stability and financial independence, especially persons who are faced with additional challenges. It is mutually beneficial for economies, employers, as well as employees to provide equal opportunities and give everyone a chance to bring out the best in themselves.
For me, I believe that Article 29 of CRPD is very important because participation and political right is a right for everyone, including people with disabilities. Participation in political life is very important because it makes people with disabilities become active and agents of change, not just a receiver of a certain intervention, but at the same time an active actor in development processes, from the planning stage, from the implementation stage of all interventions, and from the reflection and monitoring and evaluation. And this is important because people with disabilities become more empowered as a civil society person, which can bring growth and development and sustainability in a specific community.
Article 29 of the CRPD talks about disabled people's participation in political and public life. And I think it is to ensure that disabled people are not left out of the political discourse in the countries that we live in. It's important to me because just like in the previous times where people have fight for the right to vote, we also want to make sure that disabled people and our views are properly represented at the political level.